rock stars. So today we're going to look at the area of a right triangle. Now, if you remember in class, we took a square and or a rectangle you could also take, okay? We calculated the area of that square and also the perimeter, the distance around the outside, and then I told you to fold that square in half. Now, when you fold that square in half, what you find is you have subdivided that square into two right triangles. Okay, so you've subdivided that square into two right triangles. So in order to find the area of a right triangle, we determined we simply had to half the area of a square, because the area of a square or rectangle can simply be found by taking length times the width. So if we take half of that, we will then find the area of a right triangle. So, we can look at the fancy formula that's given to us, 1/2 b times h, or we could just simply take it based on what the evidence is. Now, say, for example, that the height of my triangle, okay, was 6 inches, and the base was 8 inches, okay? What I would do to solve this problem, if I was simply finding the area of this rectangle right here, okay, and this side was 8 inches and this side was 6 inches, I would multiply those two numbers together, 8 times 6, and get 48 inches squared as the area of my rectangle. So in our minds, we should be saying, well, if I take 48 in half, I'm going to get 24. So the area of my right triangle should be 24 inches squared. Now, let's plug it into the formula and see if that theory holds up. So A equals 1/2 B times H. So 1/2, my base is 8 times my height, which is 6. I'm going to have my 8. Half of 8 is 4 times 6. Area equals 24 inches squared. It seems to hold up just like that. So you have a couple of different methods to go about in finding the area of a right triangle, guys. Let's go to stairways are such a great example of where right angles have to be. If you have a stairway in your house and they did not have a perfect right, so here are the stairs that you walk up. I put a little guy here so you can also see. So you would start here and you'd start walking up the stairs. Now when they put in these wooden beams, they have to make sure that this is a perfect right triangle. The stairway is actually on the hypotenuse of the triangle. And they have to make sure there's this perfect right angle down here, because if this was just slanted a little bit, or, then we wouldn't have a right angle here and the stairway might not work effectively. Okay, so let's do use the same principle with this one. Let's say that the side length of my stairway is 10 feet. Okay, let's say that this side is going to be 12 feet. And let's say that my height is going to be about 8 feet, okay? Now, if I use my formula of the area of a triangle, of a right triangle, or let's just for a second think, okay, so if I look at how I'm drawing in with the laser pointer here, a rectangle. Well, I typically would find area of a rectangle by taking the length, which is 12 feet, times the width, which is 8 feet. So let me just write this down here so we can kind of organize our thoughts. So 12 times 8 is going to be 96 feet squared. Now that would be the area of the entire rectangle, okay? I have to half that. So if I actually take the formula, A equals 1/2 B times H, and I plug it in, 1/2, my base is 12, times my height, 8. I'm going to half 12 and make it 6, times 8. My area equals 48 feet squared. So 48 is half of 96, and it worked just like that. Okay, so it always seems to turn out in that manner that if I would just calculate the area of the rectangle or square that I'm working with, the area of my right triangle is simply going to be half. It's pretty convenient. Let's try one more. Here I already have some of the measurements put in, guys. You can pause the video at this time if you actually want to try this on your own. Let me write the formula in another way this time. So let's just say base times height divided by 2. Or it could be area equals 1/2 base times height. It's essentially the same thing. Okay, so if I plug that in, I'm going to get area equals my base is 12 units, times my height, which is 5. Think of height as, you know, how tall are you when you go to the doctor. And you could do it this way. Okay, so then you get 60 divided by 2, and your area equals 30 units squared. Or you could half one of the numbers first, and then multiply by the height. Okay, so either way, you're going to find your area there. Now, imagine for a second, really quickly, if this was a rectangle, what would my area be? Yeah, it would genuinely be 60 units squared, and the area of half of that, of my right triangle, is 30 units. As always, guys, you can go over to our Class Fusion page to get more practice for area of a right triangle.